Good morning, everybody. My name is Brandon Langer, and I am the Program Administrator for Instructional Technology with MCIU. This is another episode of Talking EdTech, where we are taking a look at all the wonderful educational technology tools in the marketplace to learn how they can effectively support your goals, your educational platforms that are used in the buildings. And today we're taking a look at a great communication tool called Smore. Smore has been around for quite a few years, but continues to improve. And we're very excited to have Dr. Kara Stern join us to give us her view of Smore as a product, as an ed leader. And I'm going to hand it up to her and let her introduce herself.
Thanks, Brandon. Thanks for having me, and I'm happy to be here and to talk about Smore. My background: I'm a longtime teacher and school leader, mostly in the New York area, and I now work as the in-house educator at Smore. So I get to create a lot of content for use, for schools use, teachers, principals, whomever, and work with the various teams within Smore to really be kind of educator forward when it comes to improving the platform.
That's great. And what, from your experience, as you mentioned, you've been in education for quite a while. What makes Smore powerful to you from an educational perspective?
So there are a couple of things. First of all, I would say that there's good research out there that shows that the more schools are in communication with families, the better student outcomes are. And this is because frequent communication home builds trust, and it helps parents feel in the loop and in the know, and that makes them support what's happening in their child's classroom, which then leads to better preparation for learning, better attendance, and really more success in the kinds of things that you need to be successful at school.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it improves engagement. A lot of those things you're speaking about are just engagement. It doesn't have to just be engagement in math. It's engagement with the community. And I agree. This is a very easy to use platform. As I said, it's not new. It's been around for a while. And a number of teachers just find home here because it's easy to make something aesthetically pleasing without having to know how to code, without having to know how to be a graphic designer. And that really helps engage the audience, I think.
We as society have shifted our reading practices in a lot of different ways. And for the most part, I think that people's daily communications, they are reading them on their phones and they're reading them on the go. And it's really with a kind of a skim mentality. Mm-hmm. And I think the one consequence of that is that if as a principal, you write a long block of text with lots of information, which is something that I have been guilty of many times, people aren't really going to read it, or they're going to miss important things because they're skimming, because it's on this little teeny screen in front of them. And so I think to have a tool that allows you to organize your information in a way that's visual, engaging, and brief, so that you can kind of tailor make the things that you want people to actually see. It really makes a big difference in helping like all your different constituents feel included, feel in the know, and feel up to date.
Well, that's a great point. So what is new with Smore? What has the team been working on, or the developers been working on to improve that access? We're trying to connect with our families.
Yeah, so Smore, actually, we're in the middle of a really exciting big overhaul of the editor. So we're about to have classic editor and the new editor, and the new editor is a lot more flexible. And it has some new and different features. It has more options of things. I'm glad to give you a peek if you want to.
That'd be great.
All right, so here we go. Here's the new editor. This is my Smore account. And one of the things we do at Smore as new employees is that we create newsletters about ourselves. And so recently we all, as a way to get some facility with the new editor, we all took our original About Me Smore newsletters and redid them in the new editor. So this is mine, my auto-bio newsletter. And so here's like one fun thing. So I like to have a visual separation from section to section to section in my newsletters. I think it's a lot easier. So now we have this nice little separator that you can just add in. Let's see. Is it mine? Yeah, so you can just add another one there. And now I have two. So that I love that. I feel like it just makes your newsletter a lot easier to skim. This is my brand new nephew. Now look at this, 2 photos. People have expressed that they wish they had more flexibility with the photo gallery. So here we have 2 photos, and look, I can change the layout. So super fun, a lot more flexible. And here are some of my past jobs. And oh, I wanted to show you at the top, add your logo. That's nice. Going to be brand new. That's really fun. We're also just building an integration with Canva, so people will be able to put their sort of Canva banners up here or Canva logos up here, which is super cool. And at the end, like this very nice little way to contact us. Here's me in my disco outfit. So anyway, there's a lot more flexibility and some really fun new features. And I love using it. I just want to point out how you can see my carrots and artichokes up here. And then it's kind of like blurred out in the background. That's so that when, this is our modern design, so that when folks are reading on their phones, they actually have a nice, crisp, pretty image that they're looking at the top.
Yeah, absolutely. And call out a couple things I see. One, it hasn't lost any of that easy. It's so simple, as Kara just showed, to drop in any of the tools there you see on the right under the add content section. But now we just have a little bit more clarity, a little bit more, honestly, power with each of the tools. And I also think colors is another thing that's probably been asked for quite a bit by the community in terms of the ability to have more colors to select from to vary your design a little bit. So I think that there's some very simple tweaks here that people will find. It helps them diversify their newsletters quite a bit, even with just simple adjustments.
You can see all these fun backgrounds for educators. I mean, really designed to be sort of school worthy. And then, you know, if you want something that's not school related, there are other options there too.
And the other thing I want to call out too is something that I know you guys do intentionally, which you see in the top right corner. There's an example, Smore Editor 101. Right there, you have a resource for somebody who might be new to this. It's an under 10-minute resource, and it can get them up and running quickly. A lot of EdTech tools have a tremendous resource library of supports or resources for teachers to use, but they're not exactly easy to find. That video about how to use the editor is one example, but I know, Kara, you've done quite a bit of work in developing some templates for teachers to use and that type of deal. So how accessible, how do teachers make use of already pre-made content in the editor so that they can just get to adding their details to something?
So we have on our website, and again, this is my account. If you go to templates by Smore, these are all templates that I have created for our educators to use. And they run the gamut of seasonal, here's my fall one, to national theme months, to other kinds of resources that might be of use to teachers and principals and guidance counselors and athletic coaches, you name it. So that's a good kind of across the top view of the range of stuff. There's also something like this, top 10 tips for using Smore. So this is kind of my top 10 for how to make a newsletter that people will want to read. But I also know sometimes what's difficult is sitting down and feeling like, oh gosh, what am I going to put in this newsletter? So I've created a whole bunch of options for both principals and teachers. So this is an example of a principal welcome back to family. So this is filled with placeholders so that if you're a principal and you're getting started with Smore and you're trying to figure out what's important, you can just start using this template by duplicating it here. As you can see, 265 other principals have done so far this school year. But it starts with like a sweet image that, you know, you want to kind of get your readers hooked and show them some feeling for them. And then I put in a section of meet the new staff. These are all, you know, these are stock photos that I made up. And then the schedule for the first week, it's just an image. And then everyone, the fan favorite, the lunch menu. I've had principals, I've been in conversation with principals who tell me, if you want parents to read your newsletter, put the lunch menu in it. So included that here, screenshot the lunch menu, a link to the school calendar, a link to the school website, because you know, you always want to remind parents that the school website is there and that it's filled with all different kinds of resources. And save the date for Meet the Teacher Night.
Yeah, and one thing I love is you're kind of scrolling through here. When we
Yeah.
write an email, we as you kind of said, we end up with these blocks of text, and every link is represented the same. It turns blue, it's underlined, it's italicized, whatever, right? So we see that over and over and over and over again. But one link might be to a video, another link might be to a website, another link might be to the lunch calendar. To that point, we don't need all three links. We can put the lunch one right in front of their face so they see it right away. The video we can embed right in here so they can play right out of the newsletter. And then that third link is actually serving the purpose of a real website URL link, which is to access another resource. So we also overcome this link fatigue because we're breaking up the types of content and the way that to use your point about skimming. When we skim oh, that's a video, hit play. Now we're watching our video. We don't have to click this link, then click this link, and like it's an unnecessary wall sometimes. So I love that this puts it right in front of their face.
And then there's little things like all of the, you know, everything, every new section has a title. The titles are all left justified, so that if you are skimming down, it's pretty, you can pretty quickly see what each different section of the newsletter is. Yep. And then because I'm a former principal, I always like to add in some actual resources that parents might find useful. So these are some articles and blogs that are for helping your child succeed in the coming school year. And you know, then you can put a picture of yourself or your school or your logo or whatever you want at the bottom, and all of your contact information. So again, if you're just getting started, all you have to do is start using this template, and then it's easy to, you can watch the little video about how to do it. It's easy to just click on each different block and change it up to match your own information.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
I want to add that there's also a section of templates by educators. This is our educator hive. So pretty much anything you might want to find, you could find in here. So the reason I started creating templates for the seasons was because I saw that people were searching for them. So if you put in fall, for example, you not only get my fall template, but you get all of these other fall templates. If you put in, you know, counselor, same thing. All kinds of different resources that counselors, and also I've created a lot of these that counselors have created. So you really don't, you really have a wealth of resources that you can get started with.
Yep, and just to highlight a couple of features that, in case you're wondering if you're new to this particular tool, you can push out emails directly from this platform. You can also say they can be accessed as a website type link that could be shared through your LMS or other messaging service to get to your Smore. So you can obviously, as you see there, tweet them out, shoot them on Facebook. There's a ton of different and even use the mass notification system. That's a big one. There's a ton of ways to get, it's not just easy to build, the delivery at which is simple to do. And then you see kind of there on the right hand side, there's an analytics section to all of this that if you're using upper tiers of the accounts, I don't know which ones have access to this or not, Kara, actually at the top of my head, but just in terms of seeing data on how was this interacted with? Did people click it? Did they open it? Are parents viewing this? And this can be informative to know what people are accessing from your communications as well.
Absolutely. And, then there's that your favorite gotcha when you have somebody who says to you like, oh, well, I didn't see it. And you can actually go look and see, well, yes, you did see it, Brandon. I see that on Tuesday at 8 a.m. you opened it up. So.
Yeah, no, it really, really is. And not to mention, you can also print and do a PDF version as well if you wanted to just shoot it out in a, to just share a collection of them. Maybe if you've got a new student in your room or to your building, you could give them the last couple newsletters. So that I just think it's such a simple thing to use with a lot of powerful features that, 10, 15 years ago was not really possible. From an ed leadership perspective, we push out emails, we do the auto robocall. This is kind of that to the next level, in my opinion. And I, again, seeing the editor for the first time yesterday in the monthly meeting for current users, they're perfect. They're the best additions you can make to the platform without getting in the way of what makes it so great, which is that it's easy to use.
Yeah, absolutely.
And anything else for educational leader perspective? You were a principal, you were an educator. We've talked about that quite a bit. But if someone's looking for I don't know, like a way to justify the purchase or something that might like say, hey, let's try this. What do you think would be the biggest benefit for somebody?
I think there are a couple of things. One of the things is just as I started out when we first opened up this session is talking about the importance of making sure that everyone is in the loop. And I think when you have a tool that's both that's fun to use and easy to use and that people appreciate receiving and that has translation options. So any family
I wouldn't even get there.
with any home language will be able to access these newsletters. Then you're really building a much stronger and more cohesive community. And I do think that, when I was a principal, I sent out a Monday memo every Monday to the whole faculty and to the whole parent body, listing all of the things that were happening over the course of the week. I did it in a Word document. It was very not pretty. And on Fridays, we sent home a newsletter to all the families that had pictures and, it was more about like goings on campus. And then once a month, all of the teachers sent home a Word doc with an update of what was happening in their class. And I think had we been able to use Smore, our communications would have been livelier. They wouldn't have, the teachers dreaded making their updates because it was tedious. And I think there would have been less dread. And I also think, there's something when everybody's doing something different, there's kind of an ad hoc look to your school communications. And I think if you have one tool that's at everyone's disposal, you just look like it's cleaner and you look more organized and together and cohesive. And we have for team accounts, we have shared folders so that, all the teachers in a grade team could be collaborating on a newsletter together that goes home, or all of the teachers in a department, all the guidance counselors. So I don't know, to me, it's a tool that I wish I had had. And so it's fun to be able to present it to people because I know what a difference it would have made for me.
Yep, I think you said something really important that applies to almost everything educational technology based. And that is, if you can unify your user experience at home and bring it under, whenever possible, under one platform, that has a lot of it helps your image, as you said. It also helps the interaction and facilitates it better. We saw this through the pandemic. People, when in America, when families first got sent home, this teacher may have been using this LMS, this teacher may have been using this messaging system, and there's a lot of scattered. And then we came back in the fall of 20, and districts had realized we have to have the same LMS, just
Yeah.
because we have parents in 4th grade and 1st grade and 3rd grade, one in each. They can't be in 3 different platforms. Same thing here. If the communication vehicle is the same, the user will become familiar, and there's an expectation, not in like a authoritative expectation way, just like I know what to expect in terms of how I'm going to be communicated with and what it's going to look like and how to interact with that technology. Because I really feel for a lot of parents that aren't in education with all of these tools, because they are awesome, but there's a lot of different ones. I told one of my wife's sisters, just, hey, because she goes, what's a Nearpod? What's that? Like, because they were getting all of these things. So you said something great, and I'll probably snip it out and use it on the front end, because it was just so well said about the cleaner we can make the experience on the community side, the more effective that communication will be. So, well, thank you for hopping on with me today and giving us a rundown of the new editor, showing us all the great features with this product. For those that are in the state of or Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the MCIU does operate a multi-user license consortium. So please reach out to me, and I'll put my email and contact information in the video for you to see, because we are happy to help districts improve this process of communication. We really feel that this is a great tool to do so. We are using it at the IU level, and I know a number of districts and teachers across the Commonwealth are as well already. So please feel free to reach out if you have any questions about the tool. Thank you, Dr. Stern, for joining us. And anything you want to close with as we head out here?
Yeah, two things. One is I just want to make a note that if you're a principal and you bring Smore to your building for your faculty and staff, in your management dashboard, you're able to see all of the newsletters that all of your team members have created. So it's not that you've sort of lost control of all of the school communications. You still are actually fully in control of what everybody is sending out. That's number one. Number two, please also include my email address in your email that goes out. It's kara@smore.com, and whoever watched this has seen the templates that I create, and if you have an idea for something, or if there's a resource I could create that would support you, your school, your department, I'd love to hear from you.
So as I said, our contact information is now on the video for you. If you have any questions, please reach out. We're happy to help with any questions about the product, any questions about what or features you'd like to see from the product. And please reach out to your local IU if you have a local technology contact as well, because they can always get in touch with me. So thank you for watching, and we'll be in touch with everybody soon.